Tech Topical, Tech's best talk show. Tech Topical, tell me what's the topic, yo. Tech Topical, talk tech topic show. Tech to the topical. Tech Topical, Tech's best talk show. Tech Topical, tell me what's the topic, yo. Tech Topical, talk tech topic show. Tech talk, tech to the topical. Tech Topical, Tech's best talk show. Tech Topical, Tech's best talk show. Tech Topical, tell me what's audible and visible. Those are my two favorite things. I'm going to give it a little second because Twitch sometimes, you never know. So I'll give it another 3, 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tech Topical, Tech's Best Talking Show. I am your host, Brian Ross, and today we're going to be going over one story, but it's kind of like 2 or 3, but they all wrap into one. And I didn't even see the similarities until literally before the show started. So I'm excited for you to go on this journey with us. And of course, the us is me and our special guest today, Marissa Bridgman, and mobile concentration. And if you want to know the best place to get something near you, Marissa is probably building it. Isn't that right, Marissa?
That is true.
Yeah.
Coming soon.
What were all the things? So you're building, what is it you're building again?
So I'm building an app it's mostly for college students to find cheap local restaurants near them.
So for college students to find cheap local restaurants, and then the one before that was to find cheap apartments, right? Or something?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For people to find cheap apartments. So if you want cheap and you want local, you know where to go. And if you don't, then you can stay right here at Tech Topical. And because today we're going over this idea of creator towns and really the future of investing. And also, if we're lucky, we might have another special guest join us. Not entirely sure. We'll see. Even if we're not lucky, we're still lucky to be here and to be here on the internet. It's a great pleasure for me. It's a great pleasure for everyone as far as I am concerned. But I wanted to talk about this idea of creator towns. And I saw this tweet from a guy, I'm going to get the name wrong, but people get my name wrong all the time. We were talking about this before the show. His name is Nat Eliason. Eliason, right? Marissa? That's how you say it. Nat Eliason, and he is known for something that he's working on called these creator towns. But he put out a tweet the other day, and the tweet said, "Update on the Creator Towns project." The way I wanted to do it is, sadly, just not a good idea financially, even in such a cheap money environment. Possible? Yes. Good strategy? Not really. But there might be a better way, full post. And then when I saw, and then also a nice little tweet here, if you're going to broadcast your dubs, you got to share some L's as well. And I think I respect that. You got to learn from the mistakes and learn from what went well. If you learn from those two things, then you learn literally everything there is to know. But I saw this tweet and I was like, that's very sad. I don't know what a creator town is, but that's sad that it didn't work out. I was kind of now curious what didn't work out about the creator towns, because I hear those two words, Marissa, creator and town, and I like those two things. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they meant creator towns as in tech creators or innovators, or if they were saying creator towns as people who do laborers jobs.
I know. It's what is a creator in this day and age? And that was something that I was thinking of as well. Also, we're live on Twitch, so make sure you share with us your thoughts. I want to hear them. Yay. And we're going to have a form at the end. Anyway, but creator towns, I was thinking, is this for content creators, like a town full of streamers? Because that would be really exciting. Think of all the content that could be made. And not a bad idea. Is it a creator town in the sense of a tech entrepreneur who's creating an app? I was kind of curious. So I went to the blog and I did some reading, if you can believe it. And what didn't work and what's next is what this article is called. I highly recommend reading the whole thing. We're going to read just some of it here. And then, I don't know, we'll see what happens. So after 3 months of going deep on commercial real estate, local businesses, and commercial renovations and real estate financing, the original model for how I wanted to do creator towns isn't great. It's a disappointing realization, but I'm also very happy that I was able to explore this, figure out where the holes in the original plan were, and not have to waste anyone's money in the process. That's always good if you don't waste anyone's money. But if you do, I'd rather you take a swing, than worry about wasting people's money. Unless it was my money, then don't take the swing unless you know for sure. Anyway, here's what I learned. This is what we really want to know. The original goal was to finance this similar to a master planned commercial real estate development. But instead of buying a large chunk of land and building a small neighborhood on it, I would buy parts of a downtown to create businesses that could help support each other. I want to pause right there because I think a lot of times it's tough to figure out when something doesn't work out. Is it because my idea wasn't very good, or is it because it was the consumers that were wrong, or is it was my execution flawed? But I'm curious to dig in a little bit on this idea, Marissa. What do you think about this idea of a master planned commercial real estate development, a thing where instead of buying land like out in, I don't know, Montana, and then you just try and get everyone to come there, you build, you get different parts in different downtowns, and maybe you can localize them and then create businesses that could help support each other. So you create like a little mini ecosystem in already kind of well-established towns. What do you think about that idea, Marissa?
I think there are pros and cons to both, because I think if you take the Montana example, you really have to focus on, you have to think about the consumer and like what would make them want to come. And I think that's just a challenge in itself. But I think what also can go wrong in establishing like a mini ecosystem in well-established towns is like they're already established. So why would they, again, you're faced with the same problem of like, why would they come to your specific like area if what they're doing now is already working?
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Why would you move if things are working? Well, it's a very interesting idea. And I do like the idea. I love the idea. I don't just like it. I love it. I love the idea of I'm going to build these spaces and people are going to come. Just how do you do that? That's the tricky part. And that's why I was so fascinated with what's going on here. So anyway, his goal was to get around $10 million worth of real estate, since you need a deal of a certain size to attract interest from serious real estate investors. There's real estate investors and then there's real estate investors. I guess the serious ones, they want about 10 mil, cool 10 mil, no big deal. I was able to find $10 million in buildings to target, but that alone is not enough. Investors also want to be confident about getting a comparable rate of return to their other real estate investments. That makes sense to me. They're not doing it for the charity. They want a return on their investment. That's fair. I'm not going to hurt, be angry at them for that. It turns out there aren't enough residents, businesses, or tourists to generate the revenues we would need to get that ROI in the areas I want to do this. So selling it to investors would include pitching that I can drive more tourism to the town, which I think I can do. But the other part of the financing challenge is debt. And then he gets really into it here. And I like this line coming up. Banks love to lend money on real estate when they understand it and can underwrite it easily. They don't love to give loans to people whose business plan includes using Twitter and digital marketing to drive thousands of new businesses to a town. They'd rather give that debt to projects they understand better. And that makes sense to me, Marissa. I feel like, I guess maybe because of the nature of the real estate, you have to go to someone who knows real estate, like a bank. Whereas venture capitalists and stuff, maybe they don't understand real estate. But it's interesting to me, Marissa. They don't love to give loans to people whose business plan includes using Twitter and digital marketing to drive thousands of new visitors to a town. Do you think that's a problem with the bank? Like, is that a bank problem, or is that not a problem? Like, that's a feature for the bank. Like, we don't want the banks to do that anyway. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that would be an issue. Like, I don't really understand that logic at all.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, obviously he knows more than we do. I don't understand. I think this is maybe why I don't work in a bank. If I was working at a bank, I would hear this idea and be like, yeah, here's a bunch of money, go crazy. Right. But I get why a bank wouldn't do it. But venture capitalists, I guess banks don't have the same appetite for risk that maybe a venture capitalist would. At least that's kind of the idea. But basically, I could do it the way I want to do it, but I wouldn't have high confidence of getting investors a good ROI, and getting the debt financing would be a nightmare. Out of all the ways to do this, my original plan is not the great solution I had hoped it would be. I don't know. I think he's being hard on himself, and I get it, but I don't know. I think I get what he's saying though. It's not the great solution he wants it to be. Marissa, how do you tell when one of your ideas, when you know if it's a good idea versus a great idea? Is there a way to tell the difference between those two things? And would you pursue a good idea or would you wait for a great one?
I think I would pursue a good idea because I think multiple good ideas can build up to a great one. But I think I can tell the difference if, like, for example, if a good idea is like something that I created, I would use it because it's something that I created. Versus a great idea, I would use it like no matter who created it. So, like, for example, the apartments app that I came up with last term, I would use it no matter like who created it, because that was an issue that I was having. Versus if I had just created something else, when it's like, well, I would use it because I created it, but there's not much else to that.
Right. You and like your family and your friends, they would use it to support you, but it's not necessarily like, product market fit, skyrocketing growth. Well, maybe it is, who knows? And I like what is it Paul Graham that says that one of those Y Combinator folk, it talks about the best sort of company to have, the best sort of idea to have is an idea that even if you build a bad version of it, even like the best problem to solve is even if you solve the problem poorly, people still use it because the problem is so worth trying to solve and trying to fix, and people just want any solution, even a bad one will do. I think that that's interesting, and I like this idea that he's on to something here. That's just, I feel like he's on to something here. Another option is the eccentric billionaire model. Either you make a lot of money or you find someone who has a lot of money and then bankroll the whole thing yourselves. This model is the easiest since you can just do whatever you want, and it's what Elon Musk, Joe Lonsdale, and others are trying to do around the country right now. But that doesn't really fit the idea of creator towns, which is, I think there's another model that's more interesting. A new take on company towns. And this is bolded, so we know it's important. Instead of trying to make a business out of a growing town, make a business that grows a town. That's what Al Dole has done in Hamilton, Missouri, and I think that's a much better method. Who's Al Doan? Let's see. We're live on Twitch. We can just do this right now. Al Doan, Dr. Bill Nye, Al Doan, entrepreneur, finance, quilt mogul, traveler, reader, e-comment. I don't know. I still don't know what exactly he does, but he built a town in Hamilton, Missouri, and it's really interesting to me, this idea of let me start a business, not necessarily in San Francisco, not necessarily in New York City. Let me start a business in my local area, and then we can try and grow the town. Because then, if it works, you kind of have your own ecosystem. You can have your own talent pipeline. You can have your own this and your own that. But the big city advantage is, of course, you have a lot of that already built in. Marissa, I want to ask you, if you were going to start a company today, would you be starting it in your local hometown, wherever that may be, or would you be starting it and moving to San Francisco, or moving to New York City, or moving to Austin, or something of that nature? What do you think?
Well, fortunately and unfortunately, I live in Oakland, which is right next to San Francisco.
Yeah, I said that. I remember that as I was saying it. I was like, oh yeah.
But
kind of in a hub.
I wouldn't build it out here just because there is so many different competitors. It's just really hard to gain that traction when there's already so many big company names who are probably solving some of the same issues. So I would start it in like Montana or one of the Midwest states, just because I feel like when you build it in a smaller state, those people there they're going to feed back into it, versus starting it here. And it's like you have some traction, but it's whether or not you survive in whatever industry you are not, isn't going to affect the town. So it's a hit or miss.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. I don't know. I go back and forth on that all the time myself, because one day perhaps I would like to start something. And do I go to New York City, which is my kind of local big city, or Philadelphia, or should I start it right here in Atlantic City, New Jersey? And I go back and forth on that all the time. But I like the way he's going. You start a business You don't have to buy all the expensive Class A office space like he puts right here. Ideally, you also want to find some other companies in a similar niche to build. He continues up a community and a town together. You could have a town with a few crypto companies or a few regenerative agriculture companies, et cetera, et cetera. And that's kind of interesting because then you have that clear industry in that town and you're known for that. You're attracting all the similar minded people and all the people who kind of have a similar goal that you do for solving the problem. And I like that. And I think that that's kind of what the big pool of cities is in general, is that networking effect. Because I would tell you this right now, Marissa, if I'm trying to find a place to live and work, well, it would be quite interesting if the thing that I wanted to work on, you, Marissa, or you, Twitch chat, were also working on, and then you told me to come hang out, I'd be much more likely to do that thing, knowing that there's a bunch of people already there focusing on that thing. And I think that's really the power of startups. And there's a new article that came out, I think from Paul Graham again, not entirely sure, about this idea of having, no, it wasn't from Paul Graham, he just retweeted it. I follow him on Twitter. About having communities that are small on purpose and that are kind of a little bit dysfunctional on purpose, that they aren't perfect. You know, there's some chaos involved. And I think you lose a lot of that when you try and scale up to a big city. The chaos of the local environment is, I think, a great ingredient for innovation. What do you think about that, Marissa?
Yeah, I mean, I think another concern though is like, you know, if we do create these creator towns and everybody there is like-minded, I'm wondering if at what point do they stop solving issues for the consumer because they're not surrounded by them.
That's a good point.
Because it's like, you know, me personally, I get a lot of my ideas and a lot of my inspiration from people who aren't in the tech industry. So it's like, if you take that out of the equation and now I'm surrounded by people who are in the tech industry, like, yes, it could be very like empowering and it could help me with my career. But at what point are we disconnecting ourselves from the people we're actually trying to solve these problems?
No, I think that's a really good point. And being exposed to a whole bunch of different ideas, I think, is a really big thing to consider. Because, in my opinion, genius isn't so much about, I know so much about this one thing and no one else knows about it, so I'm a genius. I think that's how most people use it, especially in programming. Like, this guy, he's a back-end web, he builds servers like no one's business. This person is a genius. And I agree with that in the casual, loose sense of the word. But if you really think about genius, it's really more about the combination of different unrelated fields coming together into one. Because you think about, like, all right, the most genius equation, the most famous one there is, if you can name one more famous, I'd like to know, but it's Albert Einstein's E equals mc squared. Everyone knows E equals mc squared. Energy equals mass times the speed of light, and then you square the speed of light. And then for some reason that works. We don't really know why, but that works for some reason. And the real genius there is the fact that he was taking these unrelated concepts and then finding the related concept there. So we have energy, that's a thing. And then we have mass. Okay, energy, mass. These are two completely separate things, but they're kind of related. I wonder what the link is. And then the link for energy and mass is the speed of light squared. It's crazy to me. It's crazy, and it's crazy in a genius type of way. And like you were saying, Marissa, it's important to be in an environment with a bunch of different things going on, so that you can know. One, like you said, you can be more in touch with your target consumer, but then also you kind of add some spice in there, add some spice for the innovation. What do you think about that, Marissa?
Yeah, no, I think you hit it right on the nail. I think that's why Steve Jobs was so popular with Apple, because he brought in, he knows technology, but he also knew a lot of other things behind the scenes that made Apple so big and like different from the rest of the phone market. I don't know. We read an article in my creative writing class a couple terms ago, and he took like he was really interested in like typography, which is like writing, and I think it was interesting how he took something that wasn't related to technology at all and put his spin on it. And that kind of goes with like what you were saying earlier is like he took two things from two totally different fields and linked them together, and that's what created his genius.
That's a really good point. Yeah, no, that it is interesting always to learn about the story of Steve Jobs and to read all the different stories and how exactly he was able to figure out that type of innovation. But the article continues, and actually it ends with, well, what does this mean for the project? Well, strangely enough, I think the best route to doing this, the way I want to do it, is to start a different company that can eventually help fund it. Isn't that always the case? If to do the thing I really want to do, I got to do something else so I can get the money to do the thing I really want to do. But I think that that's a powerful motivator. You need a certain amount of your own capital to do certain projects. And the best way for me to get that is to start something else that can help make creator towns happen in the future. Makes sense to me. I'll likely be focusing on something. My bad. So the best way to do that it's you start something else and then that thing helps fund what it is that you really want to do. I'll likely be focusing, he continues, on something that at the intersection of crypto and the creator economy. If you're working in either area and you might be interested in working on creating a crypto creator town, DM me on Twitter. So there's an opportunity for all of the Tech Topical viewers and watchers. If you're interested in making a crypto creator town, you know where to go. It's this guy, Nat Eliason, at Nat Eliason on Twitter, and you can DM him. Oh, his DM's open? Yeah, his DMs are open. Look at that. Maybe I'll DM him. I don't know. That sounds kind of a cool idea to me. Marissa, would you move to a crypto creator town?
I'm not sure. I have to do a little bit more research on crypto.
If it looked like this, maybe I would.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Looks pretty all right.
Yeah.
As long as there's got to be a pool and got to be some late night food options, of course. I don't know I don't see any McDonald's, but maybe there's you just turn around and it's there. But yeah, no, I think the idea is great. The idea of a town. I don't know what a crypto creator town would look like though. Like, what do you think that would look like? Is it going to be a bunch of I don't know, what's like a stereotypical crypto person? Is it I don't even know. It's so broad and varied these days. Would it be like you go to the store and you pay with your crypto, and then you unlock your car with an NFT, and then you get in a car, then you drive, and it's electric, of course, and you pay for your electricity with a different cryptocurrency? I don't know. It's kind of, what do you think that would look like, Melissa? Like, if you had a guess.
Honestly, I'm not sure. I would just, when I think about it, it just seems like a mini ecosystem where instead of using actual US dollars or whatever the currency is in your country, you would use crypto.
Yeah, that would be interesting. And by the way, special reveal later for an NFT token that I got. I still can't believe that I got it. We were talking about NFTs last week. I can't wait to show everyone because I got the sickest, most insane pool from the NBA Top Shot NFT. Anyway, I found this creator town idea, and then literally right before the show, my girlfriend, who's not a tech person at all, she's like she's in beauty, she's in fashion, she's in that world with the influencers and the social media. Not me, couldn't be me, but she's really good at that. And she told me that a restaurant that we went to in New York City is fundraising on a site called Republic. And I thought, this is really interesting. Invest in the future. You Marissa, and you viewer, and you as in me, believe in. Access highly vetted investment opportunities in startups, real estate, video games, and crypto. And wouldn't you know it, one of the trending things is a restaurant that I went to. It's called Citizens, and it's like an Australian restaurant, and apparently it's really good. I don't know. Normally, Marissa, as a side note, when I go to a restaurant and I go with other people, like especially people like I know and like I'm close with, like a girlfriend or something like that, I like to get something and then hopefully she gets something else, and then I can have a little bit of what you have, and then you can have a little bit of what I have. Do you do that?
It depends. I do it with people that I'm really close with, but that's not something I do often though.
Yeah, I like to do it anytime possible. I like to say, what do you got? Let me try it, and I'll give you some of mine. And it's still the same amount of food. I just get to try different, especially a restaurant, like a nice one somewhere else, and you want to try the whole menu. But I saw this on Republic, $743,000 raised, 865 investors. I'm thinking, oh, well, that's cool, but, venture capital, a little bit too rich for my taste. I'm not a big baller, not quite yet. I only have a couple $100 on a good day, and I probably I can't get in this. It would be cool if I could. If I could, I would. And then I scrolled down to see what's the minimum. What's the deal terms? What's going on? And here it says deal terms, value cap at $12 million. It's an expensive restaurant, $12 million, a 20% discount. If a trigger event for citizens occurs, a discount provision gives investors equity shares at a reduced price. Oh, that's quite nice. But the minimum investment is $100. You could invest as little as $100 into this company, and it's a crowd safe, and the funding goal is like $1 million. So you still have time. You have till April 26th, and they have the entire what's this called, the pitch deck here. For like, we are an actual investor with millions of dollars. This is what separates us from the rest. And it's very well made, and it looks very nice, and the food is very good. I've been there. Unfortunately, talking about that thing earlier where I have a little bit and then you have a little bit, we share the food. I got something and it looked so good on the menu that everyone else I was with got the same exact thing. So my strategy didn't really work out because we all got the same exact thing. But it was good. It's just, one of those things. But I read this and I was thinking, I don't know, perhaps just maybe I can have my own stroke of genius. Maybe there's a way to combine these two things. Maybe there's a way to combine a creator town with this sort of crowdfunding safe. It's called what's it called? Secured acquisition. I don't know what SAFE stands for. I used to, but I don't anymore. But I like the idea of not necessarily crowdfunding, because it's not crowdfunding, it's crowd investing and creator towns. What do you think that there's something there in the marriage of those two things? Maybe. I'm not sure.
Maybe. It depends on what you're trying to do with it. Like, do you want people to, like, for example, if I invest in one company and you invest in another company, and I say, hey, I'll give you some of my shares for some of your shares?
Now that's interesting. What if the shares were tied on the blockchain? Now that's an interesting idea, actually. And then I can trade off my shares willy-nilly. It's no big deal. I don't have to go and wait for a whole new funding round to get rid of my shares. That might be, I wasn't even thinking along those lines, Marissa, but you might be onto something here. I don't know.
I think that would be interesting, instead of like having to sell them. You say, well, because I want something in return. So it's like, if you have a company that I really like, I'll trade you some of these for some of those.
Yeah, there might be something, you might be onto something there, Marissa. That's not a bad idea at all. Coffee a day, 25%, the increase of gourmet coffee consumption since 2015. I mean, you could learn a lot about the brunch biz by reading through this thing. But I thought that this site was very interesting, and this idea of invest in the future you believe in. Because I saw that, invest in the future you believe in, and then as creator towns, it's kind of like the future that you want to be a part of, your own town. You can invest in your own way. And that seems to be the trend going into the future of investing, is instead of investing in something just so I can make a buck, which is good, I want to invest in something that I can make a buck, one. And two, also has a real, it's tough to say. It's something that I want to happen. It's not like I'm investing in, like ferret cages and everyone has a ferret and they all want to buy the cage. Like, I don't know, that wouldn't impact my life at all, but maybe if I make a buck, that's cool. But it'd be much cooler to me. And if it's cool, then I want to do it. It'd be much cooler to invest in something that I actually would use, that I actually could actually change my life in some sort of substantial way. And this creator town deal, I think, is a very interesting marriage with this idea of investing in startups. I even subscribed for the updates. I never joined a mailing list. I joined this mailing list. But that was kind of what I was thinking about, was this idea of funding and this idea of a creator town. Is there any big wrapping up thoughts you have about those two subjects there, Marissa? Hold on, voice in my head's talking. Does this put uninformed investors at risk? That's what the voice in my head is saying. And is this like Robin Hood, Marissa? You can't hear the producer at home, but I can hear her.
Okay, sorry. Say the question one more time.
The question is, do you think that this could put investors at risk? Like they don't know what they're in? All right, because the Australian restaurant, $12 million, I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Remind me to talk about that. Is something a good idea or not? Because I do want to touch on that some point later in the show. But there might be some ideas in here that are just complete scams that no one can really know of because they don't have like an inside look into the company like a venture capital who's doing due diligence might. So like TapRM, a platform for everything beer. Is that a good idea? Is that a real company? I don't really know. The Republic people, republic.co, they say that they're highly vetted. So one would assume, but I don't know. Do you think that this could pose a risk to the retail investors who have just been getting hit from every side recently, and finally they're starting to fight back? Is this another way that retail investors could potentially lose their $100 investment? Or do you think the risk reward, like your reward is higher than your risk? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it seems like Republic has a different outlook on investing in general. I don't think it's about trying to make the money. I think it's about investing in stuff that you feel passionate about and that you would feel good about at the end of the day. So I'm not really sure if it'll have an impact on like actual investors. I'm sure it would affect them in some kind of way, but I don't know if it's a huge risk or if it's not going to be really.
Yeah, I mean, generally, if you're going to invest in something, you gotta. I don't know. I feel like investing in what you can afford to lose is always a good way to think about it. But what's this fan controlled? I don't want to tear down anyone's idea or anything or like bust on them. But I don't know what this is all about. Fan controlled football, the pro sports league where the fans call the shots. Like right away, that sounds like a terrible idea, to be honest. Yeah. I have a friend who works in professional sports, and so I get to hear sort of like what the inside scoop is with the pro sports leagues. I won't say which league, but I get to hear the inside scoop what the people calling the shots are saying, and like what's happening in the locker room, et cetera, et cetera. And then I hear what the fans think is happening, and the fans are almost always wrong. Like not even close too. It's really interesting to see that happen. So if I invested, what do they want from me? $150 and it's a crowd IPA. I've never had it. Does it taste good? Valuation $7.5 million. I mean, these valuations are kind of crazy. Oh, but the team owners include Quavo, Marshawn Lynch, Richard Sherman, Trevor May. Maybe it's more legit than I think. Multi-year distribution deal with Amazon's Twitch. I don't know. Maybe they're onto something. I don't know what.
Interesting.
Yeah, maybe I'm too skeptical here. New category of entertainment, interactive entertainment that blurs the line between traditional sports and video games with a fan-controlled league that puts the owners, you, in control of everything from real-time play calls to jersey design. That would be crazy.
I feel like that would be really dope.
Okay, this is a dope idea. This is actually kind of crazy. If the fans could call the next play, that would be kind of crazy. Wild Aces, the Zappers, the Glacier Boys with a Z. Love it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm into this. Are you into this, Marissa?
I am. I think I'm really interested in the idea of letting like players design like jerseys and stuff. I've seen some really dope artists online.
a game where the fans and the players are on the same team. Yeah, as maybe we could do something like this on Tech Topical, where I don't even have a topic. You just tell me every word that I'm going to say. It would make it easier for me. Maybe we'll try that out. Anyway, of course, we have a form that I want you to look at, because this form is going to help us iterate and improve. Those are the two big I's, the two big things that I'm the most concerned with. And it's a form that's going to let you, that's right, you, the viewer, tell us what we should cover next week on Tech Topical. It's really simple. There's only one question, that is, what story should we cover? You get the long paragraph box, so you can put whatever you want in there. We'll check it out. And if it's a good idea, which it probably will be, even if it's not a good idea, because right here I was about to dunk on this fan-controlled football thing, but then I read about it and I actually kind of like it now. So put your idea in there, let us know, and then we'll cover it. It'll be a good time. So that form is going in there right now. Twitch form, make.sc/Twitch form. I hope you can enjoy that. And oh, and the voice in my head. Yeah, there's a poll going on. All right. Is a poll going on? Vote. Is today's episode a T-boy? That means the best one yet, or is it it's only good options. Is it poggers? Is it, I don't know. What was the other one? Goated. Is it goated? It's probably that one. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling goated right now. Tempo, Cannabox. Anyway, this is all very interesting. And I like the idea of being able to invest in whatever it is I want to invest in. Wait a second. Were the teams on here too? Oh my goodness! So you can invest in the actual teams, not just the league itself. You can invest in the Glacier Boys or the Zappers. That's actually kind of crazy. Which one would you go for, Marissa, knowing nothing else? Would you go for the Beast, the Zappers, or the Glacier Boys?
I would say Glacier Boys.
Glacier Boys? I was going to say Glacier Boys too, owned by Quavo. Big fan of Migos. I think they're very underrated for their lyrical ability. There's a Make School logo on the bear? Wait, did I miss that? Quavo. Oh yeah, no, yeah, the Glacier Boys is actually a Make School's team. That's our sports team, if you didn't know. Yeah, people say we don't have a sports team. No, it's the Glacier Boys, owned by Quavo. I don't know if that's true, but I think it is. It feels right to me. Anyway, since we do have some time, I wanted to show everyone. We were talking about creator towns. And I think we got to the bottom of that, Marissa. I think we like the idea. We hope we can get figured out. Maybe we could crowdfund it. Maybe there might be something there. We would totally check it out. I would check it out. I don't know if I would move there, but I would definitely visit. I would be a tourist there. But one of the things that has happened that might be really cool in a creator town industry, and we were talking about NFTs, is I want to show you the most insane pool. The most insane pool ever that I got. We were talking about NBA Top Shot last week, and I got the most insane pool. So here's how it works. I can give you a really clear example now, because now I'm an expert. I've done it one time, and one time is all I need. In order to get one of these packs, in order to get one of these cards, well, you can buy a card, but in order to get a pack, it's going to make me log in. All right, I'll just log in on stream. Everyone, no big deal. You have to join a queue, and then the queue is randomly sorted, right? So there was 200,000 people in this queue, and I joined, and I got number 10,000. There were only 30,000 packs. I bought a pack for $229. That's right. For $229, I could have invested in an Australian restaurant, but instead I bought an NBA digital trading card pack. And I know what you're thinking, because as my girlfriend said, he's like, why do you love gambling so much? I'm like, babe, it's not a gamble, it's a lock, because all I do is I buy this pack and then I get a guaranteed all-star and I can make a bunch of money on it. It's not going to let me log in, it doesn't look like, but I will show you the card that I got, and you're just going to have to take my word for it. Or actually, no, you don't even have to take my word for it. We can just look up Benny Cash. Benny Cash. So here we go. This is my profile. We're going to check it out, and we hit search, and I got the sickest pool. Benny Cash. Guess which player I got, Marissa?
You know,
He's from Oakland.
He's from Oakland? Is it
he plays in Oakland. What?
Damian Lillard?
No. He plays.
Oh, he plays in Oakland.
Close. I don't know. Is Damian Lillard from Oakland? I think he is. No, he plays in Oakland. I didn't.
Threw me off there.
Last guess
Okay.
for the win.
Steph Curry.
Oh, you got it. It's Steph
Oh, I
Curry.
did?
That's
Yeah.
right. I got Steph Curry, and not just any Steph Curry. I got the All-Star Game Steph Curry no-look 3. Let's enjoy this. Let's enjoy my win. Oh, isn't this beautiful?
What do you do with that?
Look at this. Oh, don't you love to see it, Marissa? Isn't that the coolest thing you've ever seen?
Is this, wait, you paid $229 for this video?
I paid $229 for a shot to get this card.
Oh, you got it. Okay, it's a card.
Yeah, it's a card. It's built on the blockchain. It's something. It's like it's on the blockchain. This card is on the blockchain. Well, it's not technically on the blockchain. This card has a pointer to a URL, and then the URL displays the card. Now, why did I pay $229 for a pack for a chance to get a no-look or look-away Steph Curry three-pointer? And the reason is because it was a lock. And what do I mean by lock? When I look up the same card on the marketplace and I go to Steph Curry, and I find the look away, no look 3. This card is currently selling for $1,465 with a top sale of $5,250. And I think that that's kind of insane. Can you believe that, Marissa?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of just confused on like what's the point? You can just look up these videos on YouTube.
You can look up these videos on YouTube. And we had a whole episode last week about why is this such a big deal? And I think the real issue here is that I actually own this, whereas the YouTube video, I don't own it. And like a trading card, I guess I could watch the players live every week, but this is like a collectible. And it's now I own somewhat of this memory. I own one of the 2021 memories because they only made 2021 because it's a 2021 All-Star game, and so it's a significant number. Yeah, edition size 2021. And yeah, I mean, you can look at the recent sales history, and all of these cards have sold. It's not even like there's just like one up there for 1,000. Like all of these, 1699, 1475, 1450, 1465. And it's a whole marketplace that operates like a free market because people can list it at whatever price they want. People can buy it at whatever price they want. There's no rules, there's no regulations. You buy it and you sell it, and that's the way it goes. There's no Fed office that's dictating the monetary policy of the cards. The only thing that's regulating this marketplace is the creator of the NFT themselves, which is the NBA Top Shot company. And I think that that's a really interesting way to go forward with crypto when we talk about economies, entirely new economies with brand new, entirely forms of money. And I bought this card, by the way, Marissa, I bought it with Ethereum. What do you think about that?
With what?
Ethereum. It's a type of blockchain. It's a type of blockchain, not a currency, but it's something on the blockchain. Let's look at Ethereum, because I bet a lot of people in the chat do not know what Ethereum is. No, they do. Chat knows everything. Yeah, it looks like this. Have you ever seen this diamond before?
Wow. No, I haven't.
But you have heard of Bitcoin.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin, but then there's Ethereum, and with Ethereum, you can build decentralized apps on it. And one of the decentralized apps that you can build with it is something like NBA Top Shot. And not only did I get a Steph Curry, I got an Anthony Davis card that I just sold for $100. And then I got a, hold on, let's go back to Benny Cash. What else did I get? Since we have time, I can flex my collection. And it's current, it's topical. We're talking about blockchain. Benny Cash. What else did Benny Cash get? Moments. I got Colin Sexton. I got a Kem Birch. And all of these different cards that all have money. This Cole Anthony card, which is sick. It's worth about $40. I got a Karl Anthony Towns, $458 out of $3,500. Huge pull there. I'm going to give it to my good friend who was on last week, Monty Hills. And I got a couple Joel Embiid cards because I'm a big fan of the 76ers. I also got a Matisse Thybulle for the same reason. And a Paul George dunk that's clearly a travel too. I just want to show everyone that this is clearly a travel. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. It's like not even...
Look at the... They have the highlights on this. I forgot what this show is called, but it's with Shaq.
Shaq and the Fool?
Yeah. And they do this every week where like NBA players are literally taking like 10, 12 steps and like nobody's saying anything.
Yeah, I know.
Like I've seen somebody run from half court all the way to like with no dribble, and I'm like, wow. So you just think they're like 8 feet tall.
Shaq the Fool. He's Shaq the Fool. No, if there was a Shaq and the Fool card out there, then I would totally buy it, and everyone keeps wanting them, and that would be just the most hilarious thing. But because you're curious about, the most valuable card right now is this LeBron James dunk for $250,000.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I mean we're talking crazy card money here. Ja Morant for 240, Zion for 210, Vince Carter for 175. Really? Probably because it's his last 3-pointer. And it's a legendary. Yeah. So it's really interesting that we have this artificial scarcity. This is what we talked about last week, is we have an artificial scarcity, but it's a real it's like artificially real scarcity with a digital thing, when as before with digital things, we've been able to reproduce and copy them millions and millions and as ad infinitum should we want to. But now we have blockchain, so now we're back to scarcity. And this guy, Robert Cialdini, one of the grandfathers of persuasion, this is one of his principles of persuasion, is scarcity is one of the most persuasive things that can launch someone into action, because that there's only 25 of these Ja Morant cards. There will never be more, there will never be less. There's only 25, and if you own this, then you own this card, and that means someone else doesn't. And that's what scarcity is all about. I don't know. What do you think about, since we're here and we have some time, what do you think about this idea of digital scarcity, Marissa? Do you think this is are you buying or selling your Top Shot cards? Do you think it'll go up in the future or down, or do you think it'll go left?
I think it'll probably go up in the future, because there's people out there who are obsessed with owning rare stuff. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, no, it's true.
So I think it'll go up, because there's always going to be those types of people.
I've been thinking a lot about this, and I think it's the mindset of the collector. And I was reading a book. No, I was listening to a podcast from Malcolm Gladwell on revisionist history, and he was talking about the mindset of hoarders and the mindset of collectors, specifically art collectors. And he made the analogy of I forget what the dragon's name is called in The Hobbit. The Hobbit?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the dragon, he has this big pile of gold. And why does he want the gold? Why does he keep the gold? What does a dragon have to do with gold in the cave? What does he want it for? And it was a really interesting kind of thought experiment. And then he did a deep dive into the mindset behind collectors and the mindset behind hoarders. And one of the things that he found that was interesting is that hoarders and collectors, their memory is tied to a physical object, so that if this person gets rid of this object, that means that they literally lose all memory of the object itself. And it's something that's very specific to collectors and more on the extreme end to hoarders, because if a hoarder throws away even anything, there is nothing to them that is junk, because everything has with it a very specific memory, a very specific feeling. And to get rid of that would be like getting rid of a memory. And who wants to do that? It might be unpleasant, especially if this is like, if this wrapper, like a candy wrapper, like a granola wrapper, those are really crunchy and everyone throws those away. This granola wrapper, I can't throw it away, because I had this granola wrapper on May 13th in 1988 with my cousin, and that was one of my favorite days with my cousin, and this is what I ate that day. I had this granola bar. So I keep the wrapper so that I can remember that day with my cousin. And I think about that, and then I think about that with the Top Shot. And I think that people might be collecting these for the same sort of similar reason. It's not so much that I can't, find this somewhere on YouTube. It's the fact that I own this, and now I can also own sort of this memory in a digital sense. Maybe there's someone out there that really wants to remember this Thaddeus Young dunk on January 22nd against, who is that? Is it the Celtics? Oh, well, if it's against the Celtics, I actually might buy it. I could buy it right now, actually. I'm Top Shot rich right now. I have a Steph Curry card. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that theory, Marissa? Do you think there's anything to that?
Well, I mean, I think when you compare the two, I think it makes more sense in this sense, because you're essentially owning other memories that you weren't necessarily there for, like I guess in person. Um, but I think it's interesting that like I think that theory is interesting with like hoarders and collectors because I never understood why you need a physical thing to remember something. Um, I would just think that maybe they have an issue with memory in general.
You know who was a big time hoarder? Or I don't know if he was a hoarder, but kind of though. Kind of though. I'm gonna get his name wrong. He's a big artist that everyone knows about. It was the guy with the Campbell soups. All right, I'm looking it up.
Not a
We have
huge
the internet.
person.
Campbell soup artists. Well, just one artist, I guess. I guess I spelled Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol apparently was a bit of a hoarder because he would go to these yard sales. He would go to these flea markets in New York City, and he would buy something, and then he wouldn't even take it out of the bag. He would just leave it in the bag, and he would just hold it. No one really got what was going on, but that's kind of what was going on. Even the junk to him was interesting and had a story to it.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's another theory too that at least for hoarders, it's not so much about the memory, but that maybe I might use this thing one day, even though it's completely useless. They're just like, oh well, I might find some way to use this one day, so I'm not gonna get rid of it.
That was a big thing with the people who lived through the Great Depression. Our grandparents and grandparents' parents might be able to tell us about a time when you saved literally everything because you don't know, and then old habits die hard. And here we are years later, saving a soup can from the '80s, and no one really wants that cream of mushroom soup. The can's all big, But yeah, I think it's very interesting. I want to make sure I'm not lying to everyone. Andy Warhol hoarder. Probably won't have it because I don't know if it's like a well-known fact, but it is Google. Hoarder. Yeah. His death revealed to his fans a debilitating part of his life. Hoarding. Yeah. I'm right. Yay, Benny Cashman. He's the best. Yay, Brian Ross. That's my real name. Yeah, that's something that is very interesting to me. And it makes sense because you look at something like this and it looks like complete chaos, but every single one of these items is a story as soon as I open it up. And open like a new tab. I know people that would get absolutely stressed out just by looking at this.
Yeah.
You see this? This is crazy. Look at all that. But every single one of these things, and this is something that's really interesting, I think, with the human mind. If you look at this and you ask a hoarder, like, what do you need this thing for? They have a reason. Like, it's not like they don't know about it. It's like, oh, I don't even know what that is. Like, no, I know what that is. I got that one on June 12th in 1993, and it was a good day. It was rainy
I was just gonna say, if you ask them to like find something, they'll know exactly where everything is placed.
Yeah. Maybe there's order to the chaos, and the way that the human mind categorizes things is so interesting to me. But anyway, I don't know how we got onto that, but I'm happy that we did because I got to tell an Andy Warhol factoid that may become useful in a trivia question someday. You just never know. That's why we collect all the information, because you never know when you're going to use it. Hoarding, but for information. And that's what Tech Topical is all about here. But I think that just about does it for today. Marissa, any last thoughts? Oh wait, breaking news. Swag box. Immediately after the show. Swag box opening immediately after the show for anyone who wants to stick around. And what's a swag box? What are you opening? What's going on? Make School swag store? What? Yeah, Make School swag store. I guess we're gonna open up a box, a mystery box, and we'll see what's inside. I kind of do want to do it right now. Let's do an unboxing. Yay, we're going to do an unboxing. I didn't even know that was happening. Maybe our special guest is inside. No. Does the dog is Ducky also going to be a special guest for the unboxing? I hope so. Let Ducky unbox it. Yay. Okay. All right, I'm going to narrate exactly what's going on in Jordan's house. Jordan, the producer. And let's see what's going on here. You're not going to be able to hear Jordan. And we're opening up the Make School swag box. And we got scissors. And we want to be safe with the scissors. You keep it pointed out, or do you keep it pointed in? You know, because back in the day, they told you to keep it pointed out, but then you might stab someone if you fall. So you should keep it pointed in. So if you fall, you stab yourself and not hurt someone else. But like, when is that going to happen? Anyway, so we're unboxing the box. Okay, we have the first flaps open. Very exciting. Ducky even wants to know what's happening. Oh my God, it's a PS5. No, it's not a PS5. What is that? Oh, we got was that a fitted? A fitted cap with the authenticated sticker on there? Oh no, it's got the snapback. Okay, it's a snapback flat brim. Very interesting, very hip, very up Jordan's alley. And Ducky is looking jealous. I would be jealous too, Ducky. And I can't wait to see what else is in the box. Was it just the hat? What else is in there? Oh, moving the stupid swag text. Okay. Let's go. What else is in the box? All right, what happened? Oh, there it is. Let's see here. Okay, we got a box. I'd love to see a box. What's inside the box, you may be asking? Okay, let's see here. What could it possibly be? My guess is a paperweight. Oh, it's a cup. Oh, it's a nice one too. So that is, and it says Make School, of course, and looks like it would keep your beverages warm or cold depending on what your preference is. Is that right, voice in my head? Yes, it is right. So yeah, that's very exciting. You can drink any liquid you want out of there. And wear a hat while doing it. And it looks like there's one more thing in there. Am I right? Is there one more thing? What's that? Oh, nice little beanie. All right, for when it gets a little bit chilly out. I love it. I could have used that last week, or yesterday, actually. TBH. I like how Ducky repositioned itself for the best viewing angle. What's that? What is that? Oh, a mask. Oh, okay. Very cool. Now you can be safe and anonymous. How about that? The mask is the modern day protection for privacy. That's why I don't think they're going away anytime soon. And now you can rep Make School in style, and you can your pets can rep it also in style. Ducky's not having it though. Ducky's like, I'm not a beanie person. What are you doing? All right, and it looks like there's one more thing. What could this one be? I bet you it's socks.
That would be so cool. I'm obsessed with socks.
Right? Oh, it's a tie-dye shirt. Oh, how about that? A little hard to see, but you can get your hippie on and be repping Make School while you're doing it. Very cool. Oh, there's more shirts. Oh, let's go. I wonder what this one's going to be. Is it a shirt for Tech Topical? It should be. What's that say? Make School. Oh, I know that place. Oh, it's a baseball tee too. The Raglands or whatever they're called. Very cool. Is it? Or is it just regular? No, it looks like long sleeves. I would look good in that shirt, I think. That would look good in any shirt, but. Last shirt. Oh, a long sleeve. Now I would definitely rock that one. Yeah, I like the long sleeve. Oh, is that a zipper? What is that?
Yeah, it's zippered.
Oh. Marissa, if you were going to pick one of those objects, which one would you pick?
I'd go for the tie-dye shirt.
You'd go for the tie-dye?
Yeah.
I think I'd go for that long sleeve. I think I'd go for the long sleeve, and then if someone took the long sleeve, I would go for. It's just I'm not going to use the cup. I just know I wouldn't. I would go for the beanie. I would like to be a cup guy, but I just. It's a lot of work. You have to wash it every time, man. Oh man! But no, it's good. A lot of people are cup people. I think if you're going to use a cup, use the Make School cup because it's
then, Brian?
It's a good cup. What's that, Marissa?
What do you use then?
You can go get your own swag at make.sc/swag. swag store. Is that it? Oh, just swag. Oh, it's on the screen too. So go over there, get yourself some merch. And if you buy every single item on the store, then you get to be the #1 person of an entire Make School. And all of the profits from the swag store, of course, go to help support the students, and it helps support the Star Ambassador program, and helps grow our little community so that we can do even more cool things. So it's going to, I think it's a pretty good cause. You could be giving your money to someone who is not giving it to Make School, and then that wouldn't be so hot. So this is a way to support the school, and it's a way to support yourself, treat yourself this upcoming Easter. Yeah, it's the next big holiday. And that's about all we have for today here on Tech Topical, Tech's best talking show. You already know what the deal is. I would like to thank our special guest, Marissa, for coming on today. And I will see you all next week. Same time, same place, right here. Make sure you follow, subscribe, and fill out the form. Tell us what we should cover. That'd be super cool. Is it in the chat? Yeah, it's still in the chat. Twitch form. It says Twitch form. Make.sc/Twitch form. All right. Yep, that's it for today. Thank you all for coming out. I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.